Board Company, welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And it is Friday. Therefore, I'd say Friday night, but it might be afternoon or morning, depending on where you are in this wide and wonderful world. But it's Friday, so it's stories for children. And who better than the amazing, the fantastic, the flamboyant Mr. Baba C. Baba C, over to you.
Thank you. You're too kind. Don't stop. But anyhow, that's a wonderful introduction by John Rowe. A piece of business. Mike, are you going to be with us for the whole time?
Yeah.
Would you mind being an additional co-host? Because sometimes when I get into the story, I don't see anything but the story.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Okay.
You're pushing me technologically, but I'm willing to try.
So Ali, if you could make Mike an additional co-host, so that no one's sitting in the waiting room forever.
I'm here, Baba. I can
you can do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Mike, thank you. Unofficially, you're on standby. Oh man, last week, Despina, some of us call it Despina, she said that she had a quandary. She had so many stories to tell, she wasn't sure which one to tell. Well, I feel the same way today. There's been so much happening around me and with me that I have a plethora. Ooh, I like that word. A plethora of stories that are begging to be told. And I can think many thoughts at one time, but I can only express one at a time. So today I'm in a little bit of a silly mood, and John Rowe will probably say, well, that's every day for you, but today is especially silly mood for me. So I want to introduce something that's a work in progress, and you got to listen carefully. And even then you'll still get confused, but it's called Befuddled. But first, from Marrakesh to Washington, D.C., I am the Griot called Baba C. From Africa to the American South, a magical words flow from my mouth. While the sun and the moon, they live in the sky. The signifying monkey got caught in his lies. Anansi's lazy, but the spider's not crazy. When history gets hazy, I don't let it phase me. I'm the Griot, the shade, the jolly, the tell the stories, the big and the small. I tell it all. Some of them try to griot, but they can't griot like this. Some of them try to griot, but they can't. Cause I'm the Baba C, the Baba C, the Baba C, the Baba C. Cause I educate and fascinate and celebrate. Cause I celebrate and educate and fascinate. Cause I fascinate and educate and celebrate. Cause I celebrate and educate and fascinate. I'm the Baba C, the Baba C, the Baba C. I'm the Baba C and not the Baba A, but Afri-centric is my way. I'm the Baba C, not the Baba A, but Afri-centric is my way. I just said it twice. I'm the Baba C, carrying constantly. I'm the Baba C, carrying constantly. I'm the Baba C, carrying constantly. I'm the Baba C, the Baba C, the Baba C, the Baba C. And now it's time for the story. I got so excited, I had to say one line twice. Oh, thank you for that round of applause, Simona. John Rowe is out in the fields. Now, being out in the fields to John Rowe and being in the fields to me are entirely different concepts. But that's another story. So this first one is it's kind of like a quasi story, maybe riddle, or maybe just me being totally foolish, but it's called Befuddle. And it goes like this. Let me tell you a story that's never been told, except for the last time it was. A story so old it can only be new, filled with lies and maybe a fact or two. This story takes place in a nearaway land where mountains were molehills and valleys stood tall and deserts were wet. The oceans were so dry that rivers and streams wept, while babbling brooks had nothing to say, speaking not a word, even till this day. The story I'm about to tell is true, so they say, except for the lies told along the way. It has no beginning, no middle, and no end. And with this, let the story begin, the end. Now, if you're wondering what type of story was this, caught between fantasy and fiction, It's sheer nonsense. I was thinking about Jasmine May when I wrote that. I actually was trying to go to bed last night. We're still having heat wave, and the AC is still out where I am. So it's been so hot. You know it's hot when you see your shadow sweat. So it's been really, really hot. And so I was trying to go to sleep, and I said, I bet Jasmine May would have a story about this. And so Befuddle came to mind. So I hope you like that, Jasmine May, because that was an honor to you. Now, speaking of being silly today, I have a fresh new story that's underway. And it's called A Flutter of Butter. At a time before time, when the four winds were one, existence was still young, animals were still seeking their voices, shapes, and colors. Most neither knew if they were hunters nor prey. The trees, flowers, and weeds were struggling to make more trees, flowers, and weeds. Now there were two little strange creatures still finding their way, but this story is only about one of them. The other creature is a story for another day. Some call these creatures the booters, but language was still young, so butters was easier to say. Now the butters had one job, just one job. And their one job was to collect the nectar and sprinkle the land with seeds and pollens from trees, flowers, and weeds, working hard for frail, tiny little creatures that could barely walk, nor walk very far or long. Yes, the butters were as busy as bees. Wait a minute, that's not right. There were no bees yet. Sometimes I get the stories confused. It bees that way sometimes. That was for John Rowe. Despite the butter's best effort, seeds and pollens were stacking up with nowhere to go. Seeds and pollen were rotten, smelling up the earth. One day, the butters heard the four winds arguing. We should go this way. No, we should go that way. I don't want to go that way. I want to get away from the three of you. Excuse me, Brothers Wind? Who said that? Did you hear something? It's me, down here. Oh, we didn't see you. You're so small and small. What are you? I'm a butter. Aren't you one of those creatures that are supposed to help the trees and flowers and seeds? Yeah, that would be me. Well, what could a small, frail creature like you have to say? And why should we listen? You have one job and can't seem to do it. The whole garden stinks of rotten seeds, pollen's gone bad, and sour nectar. Well, the garden is big and growing bigger every moment. Tell us something we don't know, yelled one of the brothers. Well, butterflutters are so small, we can only walk so far. Well, what you say rings true. What's a ring? That's a whole nother story. Oh. Didn't you say you had a suggestion? Yeah, I did. Then out with it. Well, wait a minute first. What are your names? We're the Brother Winds. But don't you have names? Yes, I am the North Wind. And y'all, I'm the South Wind. I'm the East, I'm the West Wind. And I'm the best wind of them all. I am the East Wind, says you. Of course, each Brother Wind was different, and each thought he was the best. But alas, as a certain global griot would say, that is a story for another day. Well, we're still waiting on the butter suggestion. Yes, out with it, butter. Well, if you like my suggestion, maybe you could do the butter family a small favor in return. What is your suggestion? What is your suggestion? What is your suggestion? Would y'all tell us what y'all's suggestion is? Well, instead of staying in the garden, why don't each of you create a direction, name it after yourself, and go see what you can see? The Wind Brothers looked at the butter for an eternity of seconds. Splendid idea. What a great suggestion. I agree. Time to blow this place. y'all, you know, we waste enough time arguing. Maybe we should follow the butter suggestion. Then we agree. So y'all gonna go in different directions? Yes, we are. And since we like your suggestion so much, we're gonna do something for you. But first we have to put you to sleep. And when you awaken, Butters will not have to walk anymore, and you'll be able to go further and further than you've ever been before, so you can take the seeds, collect the nectar, and spread the pollen. Well, thank you. Because even though we are flutters of butter, our legs are not made for walking, and it takes too long for a kaleidoscope of butters to walk to the trees, flowers, and weeds and gather their seeds, nectar and pollen, and spread them around. So anything you can do to help make our job better would be appreciated. East, west, north, and south looked at each other, and smiling, they howled. Now, they tell me that when the wind howls, it sounds like a banshee, but I'm not familiar with the sounds of a banshee. And the little flutter felt itself falling asleep. It is done. No longer will Butters flutters have to walk. That's butter flutters, a flutter of butter. The Wind Brothers will always have your back. And the Wind Brothers kept their word. And to this day, once the Butters awakened, they no longer had to walk. To this day, that is the reason why butter flies.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Very funny. Very funny.
I had an uncle named Julius. And well, that's actually what we called him. His actual name was, for some reason, too difficult for us to pronounce. So Uncle Julius used to work for Amtrak. Amtrak is the national train system that we have in the United States. And he worked for them way back when they had real kitchens on the trains and actually cooked food from scratch. Now, I'm not going to say my Uncle Julius was a great cook, but he's the only man that I know who could take an empty rifle, aim it at the sky, and say, bang, and ducks would fall at his feet, already plucked. The man's biscuits were so light and fluffy that we would have to throw a fishing net over them at the dinner table to keep them from floating away. And lastly, but not least, it is my Uncle Julius that made Parquet learn to say butter, because he did not allow margarine at his table. So that story was kind of inspired by my Uncle Julius, because although I'm a vegan, I must admit that sometimes of butter, I take a hit, because there's nothing like butter to smother your biscuits. And I'm talking about biscuits as in baked goods, not biscuits as in cookies. Although slathering biscuits as in cookies with butter, no, that's taking it too far. That's taking it too far. So on to the next story. There was once a young man named Mackenzie. Now, Mackenzie was the middle child in a family of 5. He had an older brother and an older sister, and he had a younger brother and a younger sister, and the younger brother and the younger sisters were twins. Now, when this story was originally written, something called VCRs were popular. And for those of you who don't know what a VCR is, if you can imagine what a cassette, well, no, you won't know. If you don't know what a VCR is, you probably don't know what a cassette tape is. So I want you to imagine a box, okay? And inside the box, there is a magnetic tape. And the magnetic tape is around a big spindle or wheel, and it goes from one side of the box to the other side of the box. But in the process, it goes over a device that translates magnetic signals into voice and sound and pictures. And this is when this story was originally written. Now, there were several problems with VCR cassettes, and that is sometimes they got caught on the little wheels and the mechanisms inside the casing, and you were waiting for your movie or program to progress, but the tape was just getting caught up and caught up and caught up and caught up, and sometimes it even tore. Now, Mackenzie, in addition to his other chores, he was often tasked with sitting with his younger brothers and sister to keep them company while they watched VCR television or VCR programs, because the parents did not want the children to mess with it and ruin the VCRs. Mackenzie didn't like that because they like to watch a program called Gullah Gullah. And Gullah Gullah was a program about based on the people on the Gullah Islands, which is off of the coast of the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, stuff like that. And these people have been forgotten by time, and they had kept a lot of their African traditions alive, and their language was a mixture of African languages, English, and maybe some patois, which is kind of like a mixture of French and other things. When they had gone undiscovered until someone discovered them and actually messed up their whole way of living, because once they were discovered, people wanted to move in, they wanted to build condos and apartments and houses. And the people on the Gullah Island, they were self-sufficient. They fished and they raised their own crops to eat. But once they were discovered, that changed. Well, Mac didn't like Gullah Gullah. He didn't like sitting with his brothers and sisters. In fact, Mac didn't like doing much of anything. If it wasn't eating or eating or eating, Mac didn't want to be bothered. And he complained all the time. I don't see why I gotta watch them. Oh, that's not fair. I don't see why Jamal and Jamil, that was his older brother and sister, I don't see why they can't watch. I mean, why I gotta watch them? This is just not fair. So one day, he sat down with his younger brother and sister to watch Gullah Gullah on the cassette. But he decided, what can they do? I'm going to my room and listen to music. And that's what he did. Well, little children being little children, they decided that they wanted to replay the cassette. But they pushed the wrong button, and they pulled and the cassette was rejected. It came out of the cassette player. And being little children, they were curious, and they saw this little flap, and they pulled the flap up, and there was this little brown tape, and they started pulling on the tape and pulling on the tape. And as you know, they were destroying the VCR magnetic tape. And when Mac's parents came home, they saw the little one sitting in a pool of magnetic tape, and the VCR was destroyed. Mackenzie Roosevelt Machiavelli, get down here now. When your parents call you by your full name, you know you're in trouble. So he came down. He said, yes, I don't like your tone. Yes, ma'am. I was listening to music. You're bothering. What? Nothing, ma'am. I thought we told you to watch your brother and sister while they were watching Gullah Gullah. Like, I was, but I've seen that. They watched 50, 100 different times. I just went up to my room to hear some music. Yeah, well, you see this? And she held up the disc. Well, it wasn't a disc. She held up the box with all the tape hanging out. This is what they did. This is why you were supposed to be here with them, so they would not destroy this tape. Your dad and I were just downstairs setting up our home office. We asked you to do one thing, just one, and you didn't do it. And you're being disrespectful. I tell you what, go up to your room and bring me down your computer, bring me your cassette player, bring me your earplugs, bring me everything electronic and bring it down here. And you got 2 minutes to be down here, young man. But 2 minutes. Yes, ma'am. And he went up and he took all of the electronics. And the father said, and bring your electronic games down too. Oh, man. And he brought everything down, everything he could play with, everything that could hold his attention. And he brought it all downstairs. And then the father said, go to your room and don't dare come out of it until I call you. But what about supper? What did I say? Yes, sir. And he stomped up the stairs. That's my imitation of him stomping. And he stomped upstairs. And when he stomped upstairs, he slammed his door. He shouldn't have done that. And so he sat there with nothing to do but maybe read a book or two, and he refused to read the book. And he was so angry. And finally, his mom tapped at the door. She cracked it. She says, your father said for you not to come out the room, but I'm bringing you some sandwiches and I'm bringing you some juice. Don't come out this room, but this is your dinner for tonight. Yes, ma'am. And she closed the door. I don't see why I got to watch them. I mean, it's just not fair. Sometimes I wish all I had to do was nothing. Just like Jamil, just like the little ones, do nothing. Just sit around all day and do nothing. And then have everybody say, oh, how cute you are. Isn't it cute? Cute. And just then, purple smoke started bellowing out of nowhere. Now, the smoke didn't make him cough, and it didn't smell like anything burning. It was just purple smoke. And in the midst of the purple smoke, there was a purple boy about Mackenzie's age. But the boy was only human from the waist up. From the waist down, he was just a cloud of smoke. And the purple boy said, why are you complaining? Because my parents make me do everything. I have to do all the chores around here, and I have to do everything, and it's not fair. I just wish I could sit around all day long and do nothing but have people go, coochie, coochie, coo, how cute are you? That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Well, what about school? I don't want to go to school. Why should I go to school? The little ones don't go to school. Why should I go to school? But your family loves you. Can have my family. I don't want my family. You can have them. Are you sure? Yes. So let me get this straight. All you want to do is to be able to sit around all day long and have people talk about how cute you are and not have to go to school? That's right. And if I can do this, your family can be mine? Yeah, you can have them. I don't care. Okay. In the morning when you awaken, all you'll have to do is sit around all day long. You won't have to go to school, and people will talk about how cute you are. Going, coochie, coochie, coo, isn't that the cutest little thing? And Mac looked, he said, you know what? You're probably a hallucination because I didn't get my dinner. Go away. And with that, the purple boy and the purple smoke faded away. The next morning, Mackenzie awakened, and he opened his eyes, and through a kind of, first his eyes wouldn't focus, and he saw all these giants standing over him. But they couldn't have been giants because the smallest giants were his baby brother and baby sister. And the tall giants were his older brother and older sister. And the tallest giants were his mother and father. And they were looking, going, isn't he the cutest little thing? Mommy, can we keep him? Now, honey, you know it doesn't work that way. Why? We don't know who left him on the porch or why. But we have to find out who he belongs to. And if nobody shows up, well, then we can figure it out then. But we just can't keep him. That someone left him on our doorsteps in this cute little basket for a reason. And we need to find out why. And Mackenzie was like, I'm a baby. Now they all got to watch after me. And then he saw something that made him nervous. There was a boy who looked exactly like him standing over the basket that he was in. And he was saying, isn't he the cutest little thing? He's so cute. I'm having fun watching after him. Please, please, please. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. And the boy that looked exactly like Mackenzie picked him up, and he held him, and he tickled him under the chin, and he turned toward the mirror, and Mackenzie got the biggest shock of his life. For in the boy's arms was not a baby, but a puppy. He says, if we can keep him, I got the perfect name for him, Little Mac. And then the boy that looked just like Mackenzie got real close and whispered so that only the little puppy could hear, be careful what you wish for. Asante. And even though that was a story about puppies, I don't think it was about puppy love. Someone asked me, I did that story once before on our network. That's a story I wrote way back in 19 when cassette tapes, VCR cassette tapes were all the rage, and everyone had a cassette player. And I was learning to do remotes on a portable cassette production unit. Now, what made it portable was, in those days, it was big reels, and reel from here, reel to there. And what made it portable was you could strap the you could strap the back of the tape player to your back, and you carried your boom and your lights and stuff like that. That's what made it portable. It was heavy. But here comes the bad pun. It was really fun. See, reel to reel. It was really fun. Okay, I know, Don Juan. I can't help myself. I said I was feeling especially silly today. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. Jasna May, are you with us, Princess?
Yes, I am.
So I'd like to ask you something. What did you think about my story about Befuddled and the story about the Butters?
I love that story.
Oh, thank you. All right. I'm quite sure that if there was a problem, you would tell me though, right? Politely, but you would let me know, right? Uh-oh, she didn't. I think she would, because that's the way she is. That's such a talented family. All right. So John Rowe, a moment ago, you had a friend in the field with you wading into the camera. Who was that?
They were sort of poetry and percussion people that were that actually they're at the circus camp with us. I'm at a circus camp this week, telling stories, but everyone else is learning proper skills. But this couple were at the entertainment last night, and I've got to send you a link to their stuff because they remind me of the last poets, and you're probably the one person I know who'd know who the last poets were.
Yes, the last poets who were inspired by.
But they've been very influenced by them.
Last poets were influenced by Gil Scott Heron.
Yeah, well, they were before Gil Scott, weren't they?
Well, no, he had been around for a while. I think he was there first because he did Message in a Bottle. He was an odd mixture of jazz and R&B and what would now be called spoken word. Yeah. So, anyway, they reminded me of them, and I just said I was going to send you a link to their stuff. Really good. The woman is, the guy's English and the woman is from Barcelona, and they've been they're on tour from Barcelona at the moment. But that's a different thing. But that, in answer to your questions, that's who I was saying hello to. All right. That's a magnificent tree behind you. And I want to tell you, before I tell my next story, I think your beard is magnificent, and I can't wait for mine to get that full again.
Yeah, well, you allowed the butchers on it.
Well, my
right.
barber, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's a fine barber, very, very important person. But you're very important. Can we have another story?
Yes, I'm about to do another story now. And remember, a story well told is a story worth retelling. So this is a story about the Bossy Elephant. And by the way, this is a Gullah story. Although it's been American, well, the Gullah Islands technically are American. So it's part of the United States. But this is about the Bossy Elephant. And her name was, or his name was Elijah. Now, Elijah was an elephant, a very, very bossy elephant. Elijah was a know-it-all. If there was anything to be known, Elijah swore up and down that Elijah already knew it. And if you were smart and knew it was good for you, you would listen to Elijah tell you what Elijah thought Elijah knew. But Elijah was always bossing people around. So one day they were sitting around trying to figure out, on a hot day, they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. And people were offering ideas. Teddy Tiger said, we could go play tag. But Elijah said, nobody want to do that. George Giraffe said, well, we could play hide and seek. But Elijah said, nobody want to do that either. Hector Hippo said, well, we could go swimming. And why would we want to do that? Nobody want to go swimming and get all wet. Everyone was frustrated. I mean, like, no matter what anyone came up with, Elijah said no, that nobody wanted to do it. And so finally they said, well, Elijah, what do you want to do? Well, we're going to play follow the leader, and I'm the leader. Well, why are you a leader? Because the leader has to know everything, and I know everything, so you need to follow me and do what I say. Well, they had been through this before. And rather than spend the rest of the day arguing with Elijah, they decided to let Elijah lead the way. And so Elijah got in the front of the line. Let me tell you about Elijah. Elijah always had to be in the front of the line. If there was a line already in progress, Elijah would just walk up and put Elijah in front of the line. Now, some of you are wondering why I'm saying Elijah this, Elijah that, instead of he or her, because in some of the stories, Elijah's a he, and some of the stories, Elijah's a she. And rather than confuse myself, I'll just say Elijah. Now watch me slip up and go he. So Elijah always had to be in the front, and Elijah was bossing everybody around and telling everybody how they should walk. And it's left to the right, to the right, to the left, left to the right, to the right, to the left, left to the right, to the right, to the left. And everyone was following Elijah, left to the right, to the right, to the left, left to the right, to the right, to the left. And Elijah was so busy telling everybody how to march and how to walk. Elijah wasn't looking to where Elijah was going, and Elijah walked right into a branch that stuck out like this and got Elijah's neck caught. Elijah kept trying to pull his neck out, but couldn't because he was stuck. Someone help me, someone help me, someone help me. But all Elijah's friends were so busy laughing because it's the funniest thing they'd ever seen. Here, this big old bossy person was running around telling everybody what to do and got his neck caught in the branch of a tree, and they were rolling, but not rocking, but they were rolling, laughing, laughing at Elijah, and they just thought it was the funniest thing. And then everybody, and then George Giraffe said, "Come on, everybody, come on, let's go down by the pond and let's go swimming, let's go swimming, let's go swimming." So Hector Hippo, Teddy Tiger, and George Giraffe left Elijah stuck in the tree. And Elijah started crying. Up yonder, now for a city boy, yonder is longer than what you're willing to walk. But up yonder, up on a hill, was Lazarus the lion. And he had watched the whole thing unfold. So the lion took his time and he gracefully walked down the hill to where Elijah was stuck in the tree. And he said, "Elijah, you seem to be somewhat in a quandary. You appear to be stuck in this tree." "Yes, I am. I'm stuck in a tree. My friends left me and they won't help me get loose." "Well, Elijah, how did it come that you got stuck in the tree?" Well, my friends, they would talk about what we were going to do today, and they kept coming up with stupid things to do, and I kept saying, "Nobody want to do that. Nobody want to do that. Nobody want to do that." So then I decided we should all play follow the leader, and I'm the leader. "Well, Elijah, why were you the leader?" "Because the leader has to know everything, and I know everything, so they have to follow me because they need me to tell them what to do." "Oh, and did you tell them to get stuck in the tree?" "No, I was telling them how to march and how to walk, and I guess I wasn't paying attention, and I walked into the. That's how I got stuck in the tree." Well, Elijah, if you know everything, then you should know how to get out of the tree. Uh, 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 I, I guess I don't know everything. Well, Elijah, I'm glad to hear you say that, because when people say they know everything, they usually don't. But I'm the smart one. I don't see anybody else stuck in the tree, and being smart has nothing to do with it. Well, what should I do? Are you willing to listen to someone tell you something you don't know? Yes, I guess so. You guess so? I know so. Yes. I mean, yes, I'll listen. I'll listen. I'll listen. Well, Elijah, the way I see it, you're stuck in that tree. Did you try pulling backwards? Yes. Did you try pushing forward? Yes. Did you try moving side to side? No. Well, Elijah, I think you know what you need to do. Back and forth and side to side? You tell me, Elijah. So Elijah began to push back and forth and side to side, back and forth and side to side. And gradually, very slowly, Elijah was able to get his great big head unstuck from the tree. Oh, 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 that's much better. That's much better. That's much better. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lazarus Lion. Thank you very much. Eliza, have you learned anything from this? Yes. What? I don't know everything. And sometimes I should let my friends decide what we're going to do. And sometimes I should listen to other people. And sometimes I should let other people be the boss. I think you've learned your lesson, Elijah. Why don't you go join your friends? Well, they're angry with me. I don't think they're going to talk to me. You won't know unless you go. So Lazarus Lion moseyed on up the hill. I've never learned to mosey. Moseyed on up, but they tell me it's very slow. Moseyed on up the hill, and Eliza the Bossy Elephant gradually made his way down to the pond where everybody else was swimming. Hi, everybody. I'm not stuck in the tree anymore. Yeah, we can see that. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Hey, that's not nice. I mean, it was funny, but that's not nice. I have something to say. Oh, Elijah's gonna boss us around again. No. I apologize for being so bossy. And always having to be the first person in line and always telling everybody what to do and never listen to anybody else's suggestions. I apologize, and I don't have to be the boss all the time. And I listen to the things that you want to do, and I you're my friends, and I'm sorry. I apologize. George Giraffe eyes popped open. Henry Hippo's mouth jaws dropped open, and Timmy Tiger went, whoa. And they just stared at Elijah for a moment, and they realized Elijah never apologized for anything that anyone could remember. And Elijah never willingly gave up being the leader. And Elijah definitely didn't listen to other people's suggestions. So they said, well, if we forgive you, will you do some of the things we want to do? Yes. Anything you want to do, like hide and seek. Yes, hide and seek, and swimming in the pond. Yes, swimming in the pond. Yes, swimming in the pond. Okay, well then, let's play hide and seek. Y'all not gonna forget to find me, are you? No, we wouldn't do that to you, Elijah. We think you've changed. So let's go play hide and seek. And so that's what they did. They went to play hide and seek, and then after being all hot and sweaty, they went for another swim. And Elijah learned not to be so bossy and to respect and listen to his friends. And for those of you who think you know everything, unlike Baba C, One of my students said, "You think you know everything, don't you?" And I responded, "No, I don't think I know everything. I know everything. And if there was something I didn't know, I would know it." This so confused the student, they sat down and they were quiet for the rest of the day. So if you think you're too smart to listen to others, you're only proving how smart you are not. One more thing. If you're the smartest person in the circle you hang with, you need another circle. Asante. Thank you.
Fantastic. That field, all the children, and and they look after themselves, and they're playing. There's no fights. There's no nothing. It's a global village. There's kids from parents from all over the world, and they're the best audience, the best child audience I've had in years. They're fantastic. So I've been taken aback by how fantastic the children always seem amazing to me, but this lot are particularly fantastic.
Children are great. I think they are some of the most interesting people to perform for because they tell you what's on their mind. They may not always say it in the most diplomatic way, but they'll let you know.
Yeah, there is a kid who thinks my beard is fake, but no, they none of them are in formal education. They're all they're all educated at home or in home education groups and stuff, and it's quite amazing the effect. They walk past me and I hear them saying, "Oh, I've got to do my dual lingo. I've got to do my languages. Then I'm gonna learn to juggle. Then I'm gonna learn this." So
some of my most fascinating audiences have been the homeschool. In fact, they keep me on my toes because they will try to quiz me on things that are African, and I have to let them know that Africa is a continent. I have to remind them it's a continent, not a country, with over 2,000 different ways of saying the same thing, celebrating the same thing, and even dressing differently. So they keep you on your toes, and I love it.
They're fantastic. Right. Well, we're pretty well at that time, Baba. So it's it's been a fantastic evening. I love your stories. I'm not going to let you tell another one because I'm going to have you back sometime fairly soon. I don't know when,
okay.
But and then it leads me to say what's coming up. There is on Sunday our worldwide story round. Simona, we will expect you to be there. That's at 7 o'clock in the evening, UK time. Then on Tuesday at 5 o'clock in the evening, UK time, there's International Young Tellers. I hope to be there myself this week. I might have a little trouble with the worldwide story round, but we'll see what happens there. Whereabouts I am on the road. I might even have got home by then. And then Tuesday, and then next Friday we have the amazing Yanina Vigos, who's beautiful young beautiful teller, and Donald knows her. She's been on the cafe before, and so it goes on. And at the moment, Mike and Zuhair and myself are frantically putting together the Marrakesh International Storytelling Festival, running from the 12th of February to the 19th of February. If you're out there, wherever you are in this world, we want to see you in Marrakesh because it is going to be such a storytelling party. Now just say party for me, Babasi, because I just love it.
Party. Party is what you go to. A party is what you are.
Right.
Hey, John, let me throw in real quick. You were talking about homeschool. There's a homeschool program I work for usually every summer, and they finally sent me my contract. So I have 2 weeks of after school program, after camp programming for a group called Kids and Cultural Camp. one of the most diverse, inclusive cultural camps you'll ever want to participate or be attached to. So I just want to share that real quick. And friends from my side, including my family, have told me to tell John Rowe, licensed to tell, and everybody else in the storytellingcafe.com. Hello from the Calendar and Durant and Anderson family. They're all related to me. And my godsons are saying hello to you as well. So hello, hello, hello.
Hello. And Simona, you would love one little boy here. His one parent's Italian, and so and he's growing up here, but he speaks a mixture of it. He thinks and this mix of Italian and English is one language, and so he comes up, and I've learned to understand him. But it's I think the way kids deal with languages is fantastic. Meanwhile, farewell from the World Storytelling Cafe. We'll see you either next Friday or this Sunday or Tuesday evening. We just keep coming back. So bye-bye. Thank you, Ali, for flying the magic carpet.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mike, for providing the fuel for the magic carpet. And thank you, Bossy, for the magnificent entertainment tonight. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Until the next time. It's been
We
great.
continue, my friend.
To be continued.
Bye.
There
Good
begin-
night, everyone.
To be continued.
Thank you, Jasmine. Shukriya.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Simona. Bye, Donald.
Asante
Bye,
Sana, Rafiki Yangu.
Asante Sana.
All right, good
How do
folks.
I leave?
You just click off the camera.
Everybody.
Oh, got it.
All right.
Thank you,
Donna,
Donald.
I'll see you next time. Once again, Ali, thank you.
Thank
We
you.
couldn't do this
Bye-bye.
without you.
Thank you, Donald. And you